Hey guys! Today I have a book review for you and we're doing it in awful lighting at night because it's getting closer to winter and that means the sun is setting earlier, which means my lighting is gone. So bear with me. Today I'm going to be reviewing Codename Chimera, which is by J.K. Percy, also known as Jake and Kate Percy. I believe they have self-published this book and they contacted me a little while ago asking if I would review a copy, so they sent one to me and now I'm going to talk about it. Codename Chimera is a mystery novel about a private detective in New York City named Kevin Chris and his assistant Penny, who are contacted by a young man who believes that his father was murdered by his stepmom for his vast fortune. Basically, this guy's father was found in a very seedy neighborhood of New York City, dead, apparently from shock, with a book on his chest open to the page Chimera. So it's basically a book about mythical Greek creatures. He also happens to be missing a medallion necklace that he always wore, and the boy doesn't really think much of that. He's convinced that it's his stepmother who killed his father, and so he hires Chris and Penny to look into it. Chris goes to question the wife and deduces that it was not actually her, and then he has to go back to square one. So who killed the older gentleman and why did they kill him? As Chris and Penny get further into the mystery, they also bring in Chris's friend Michael, who happens to be a millionaire with a lot of different connections, to help them solve this case, and they realize that it might not be about his money, but it might be about this missing medallion. To start off with things that I didn't like about this novel, I'm going to go ahead and say that the writing was okay. It wasn't spectacular by any means, and I think that its main flaw was that it was very passive. What I mean when I say that the narration was passive is that we don't actually get to see a lot of events occur. There's only a couple instances that come to mind right off the bat where we actually see a big moment of action. Most of the time in this novel, we're getting told that something has happened slightly before the moment that we are in now, if that makes any sense. That writing style in general is just less engaging because it's not currently happening and you're not currently experiencing it with the characters, so I would just say that that is probably the largest flaw of this novel. Moving on to characters, I would say that Chris is a very confusing character to me. Kevin Chris, the private detective, he's kind of an enigma, and I'm not sure if that was intentional. When you're first introduced to Chris, he's kind of this antique collecting, suave, very old-fashioned feeling private detective, but then he goes on to be kind of like, he sleeps with one of his suspects, he knows kung fu. I'm just not really sure what to make of him at all. I don't really think that we got much about him at all. We kind of just, I think, barely grazed the surface, and I know that that's not what this book was about. The book was about the mystery, but still, given that he was kind of, I felt like he was being pitched as this very charismatic character, and I would have liked to have gotten to know him a little bit better. In regards to his assistant Penny, I kind of felt like she was a bit of a caricature of what a female cop's assistant would be, like a secretary or something like that. I felt like she was appropriately emotional in the scenes where it would have been really traumatic or, you know, kind of distressing, but I did think that she was overly compassionate. For example, at the very end, a guy tries to kill them, I won't say who, and then she's like, "Oh my god, you got hurt, we need to take you to the hospital, you poor soul." No, Penny, you don't, he tried to kill you, that's really, really not necessary. My last problem with the novel was that every single character had a friend who was very knowledgeable about a certain field. So, say they, I don't know, didn't know anything about Greek mythology, then, oh wait, I have a friend who's a professor of Greek mythology at this university and he's told me all about it. And now to talk about the things that I did enjoy about this book, I was absolutely addicted to the plot. I honestly did not think it would end up being as complicated as it was, and I was really impressed that there were constantly more and more layers being added to the mystery, and it was just, I was like, what? That? How? I totally didn't see that coming. It got very addicting very quickly, and like I said, at the end, I was blown away. Totally didn't see that coming. It kind of reminded me of a Dan Brown novel in the sense that I totally thought it was myth-related, and not to spoil anything, but it's not really at the end, and I was like, where did that come from? Oh, I just totally spit at the screen. So overall, I thought this was a fantastic mystery. It kept me totally engaged despite some issues with the writing, and I ended up giving it 3 stars on Goodreads. So that is it. I highly encourage you to check it out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!